Welcome to the show. We hope you're well, and we've another packed show ahead whilst we stay remote from each other.
Yeah, we are remote and we're staying that way for now. And although the daily is due to come to an end in the next few days, we'll be telling you our plans very soon.
Till then, we've got another great guest waiting just outside the door who'll be with us just after the news.
So, with the increased interest in remote production workflows, Intinor Technology, who you may recall were on the show a few weeks ago, will be demonstrating how to do remote production in a series of live webinars with Danish company Skaarhoj, who are manufacturers of universal broadcast control panels. The aim is to showcase how the remote production tools from both Intinor and Skaarhoj complement each other to give a flexible, secure workflow for live production using a variety of different content sources and locations. Check out the link for more info, and of course do look at the interview we did with Daniel, which came out on the Daily Show on the 30th of April.
Yeah, that was a good interview. And talking good interviews, we also had Dejero on the show, and they've now joined a consortium of technology providers delivering a range of broadcast technology to media partners and Dejero customers to facilitate the coverage of NASA and SpaceX's historic launch of the first US astronauts from the US since 2011. Dejero's technology will enable the worldwide distribution of feeds from multiple pooled cameras positioned to cover the launch of the International Space Station. And the setup will allow Dejero's TV station customers to supplement their use of camera pools at the Kennedy Space Center with additional isolated camera feeds in the days leading up to the launch without human operators on the site. You can find out more about Dejero's technology in the interview we did with Yvonne, which was on the Daily on the 22nd of April.
Yeah, it was a while ago, but it does seem like only yesterday we had Daniel and Yvonne here in the studio with us. So the Royal Television Society are running an online session on the 28th of May that looks at some of the practical issues, among other things, what smartphone, what gizmos, how do you edit, and the thing that's often forgotten, sound for mobile journalism. Mobile journalism had already created a stir, if not a revolution, in the TV journalist community, and add to that the COVID-19 pandemic and the challenges of social distancing, and the whole way of working is constantly changing. This rapidly evolving landscape means that people are continually working on what the way forward might be and seeking answers to the new challenges as they arise. No one is more qualified to address this than Mark Settle, one of the leading trainers at the BBC Academy, who has a particular interest in the development and practice of mobile journalism. This is not to be missed session for anyone interested in mobile journalism, whether a student, practitioner or manager. Check out broadcastnetwork.co.uk for more detail, and of course there are many other events on there too.
There certainly is. Now, if you're a regular viewer of the show, you'll know that the Daily Show is brought to you with the support of Media Proxy, who, as you may already know, is the global leader for all things compliance. With over 20 years in the business and over 15,000 channels deployed in over 60 countries, they are the trusted partner in the industry for logging, monitoring and analysis of linear broadcast and OTT.
And you probably must know by now that they also provide advanced OTT monitoring. Keeping up with the growing number of ABR streams can be daunting, which is why having a unified system for monitoring compliance and identifying issues across traditional OTT platforms is critical. By being able to run on-premise and in the cloud, Media Proxy Log Server can capture, monitor, compare streams from encoding through to CDN.
And you're also well aware that if you're looking to replace your Volacon system, team up with the global leader in compliance. For more information, please check out their website. And now it's time to welcome today's guest.
So we're joined by Peter Sykes of Sony Professional Solutions Europe. Peter, welcome to the show. So I'm going to kick off straight away. Obviously, you guys had the Sony's Virtual NAB launch. How did this get received by the customers in terms of new products and solutions that you demonstrated and launched at that event?
Well, thanks for the opportunity to talk. It's always good to connect up. These are, as we all know, unprecedented times and quite difficult times, actually. So we obviously received the news that NAB unfortunately had been postponed along with, I guess, lots of other companies, we were at quite an advanced stage of planning. So we had to adapt quite quickly. And what we did is we decided to create a virtual NAB experience for our customers. So we had things like, we had a webinar that we ran, we had customer newsletters, and we also wanted to kind of give them the opportunity, our customers the opportunity to see what they would have seen in our stage presentations at the show, because they're always very popular. So we created a hub, we put all the product and information on there, the solution information, and we filmed what would have been our NAB stage presentations, and we put those up online, and they were obviously very well received. And at the same time, we've been reaching out to our customers who also couldn't make it to the show. We've been hosting virtual meetings, we've had training sessions, and so forth. So we had to adapt quite quickly, but along with lots of other companies in the market, we decided to do a virtual experience for the customers.
And Peter, are those sessions available for people to watch now and catch up?
Yes, they are. Yes, so all of them are recorded. They're about 10 to 15 minutes long, so you need to sit down, grab a coffee, lock yourselves away for a while, and immerse yourself. There's a broad range of subjects that are covered. All our imaging technologies that we would have shown, high dynamic range, our cloud-based solutions, broadcast infrastructures, that kind of thing. So there's a full range of stage presentations that we recorded and we produced for the customers who couldn't make it to Las Vegas.
Cool. Well, we'll stick a link on screen now that people can see more there. Just looking forward now, how are you supporting customers with your new solutions in this changing broadcast environment?
What we found is it's clear that almost all organisations in the industry have been impacted to some degree. And it's a combination of things that we're trying to address and help our customers with. So we know that a lot of customers have moved very, very rapidly to remote production. We know that they have teams that are either in full or partial lockdown. But we also know that during those times and in those productions, they have to maintain quality. So where possible, the high quality for which they're renowned has to be maintained. So what we've been doing is we've been emphasising our new products and solutions that we have to help people move to this new way of working, but also to maintain their high quality.
So that's interesting. With broadcasters demanding solutions specifically tailored to live, remote, and virtual production, can you give us any more in-depth information on how you're sort of helping them maintain the quality we expect in this new working environment?
Yeah, sure. So we obviously had some new product announcements for NAB that we were highlighting in our virtual NAB experience. So if we start to look specifically at things like remote production, we introduced 2 new cameras for our remote camera lineup. So very compact cameras. They're called the SRG XP1 and the SRG XP25. So they're very compact. They're 4K, they can operate at up to 60 frames per second, and they've got IP connectivity. So they're perfect for those remote production applications. We also announced that we're adding simple streaming support for the PXW, the Z190 and the Z280. So that's for live streaming of news, for people who want to live stream sports, events, upload content to social media platforms, for example. For our shoulder camcorders, we have some new options. We've got a new HD high dynamic range license for use with the PXW X400 shoulder camcorder. So that's for people who want to really have that impact of high dynamic range and are working in high definition environments. We have a new disk drive for our professional disk lineup, the PDW-4, with faster file transfer speeds, for example. And across our camera lineup, cameras like the Venice, we have version 6 new firmware for Venice, version 2 firmware for FX9. So lots of new features for the cameras. The Venice camera, for example, new high frame rate capability. And for FX9, we've added the capability to get 16-bit RAW directly out of the camera itself. So quite a lot happening in the remote side and on the acquisition side. We also, just
really
before NAB, and before NAB, we had some interesting news as well, because we had two new monitors that we announced actually at the BSC show, I think it was in February. So the PVM-X 2400 and the X 1800. So these are two new monitors, fantastic picture performance, 4K, high dynamic range, and the color consistency that they have with the BVM HX 310, which is a very high-end monitor within our lineup. And also in the live production, you talked a little bit about live. We've added some capability into our switcher lineup. So for a long time, we've had our XVS switches. They're used in fantastic live events, and also in high dynamic range infrastructures as well. And we had a lot of requests to put some of the fantastic HDR conversion capability we have from our HDRC 4000 converter into the switcher itself. So that's a new addition for the XVS switcher family.
That's great. So, Peter, tell us a bit about the variety of cloud services that Sony offer that support the industry's growing demand at the moment.
Yeah, so we've had a comprehensive lineup of cloud solutions, which we've been developing for many years. And these are the basis of what we call our Intelligent Media Services portfolio, which is, we abbreviate to IMS, so it's known as IMS. So applications in there include our virtual production system. So this is a cloud-based switcher configuration where customers can, they don't need any hardware to produce live events. All the hardware they need is the cameras. So wherever the camera operators are located, they can connect their cameras up to the cloud, the switching in the cloud, and the teams can be distributed geographically in lots of different locations. So we find that customers are very interested in this application. We also have our C Media Cloud Services platform. Again, this is a collaborative production environment, cloud-based media management. Again, it's all on the cloud. And interestingly, if you watch the presentations that we created on our NAB hub that we were talking about earlier, the stage presentations, we used C to create that content. So we had Z280 cameras that were recording high quality in XAVC. Those stories had to be scripted, they had to be sharp, the sound had to be recorded and then edited together. We had graphics elements, and it all had to be signed off all remotely. And we used our C Media Cloud platform to do that. We have our Media Backbone Navigator X solution, for example, where we can customers can manage their content on-prem, and then Media Backbone Hive, which is it's a very award-winning news production system for global organizations who want to seamlessly link their news headquarters and their bureaus around the world with the crews that are out and about shooting. And also XD Cam Air, again, a cloud-based system which very tightly integrates the ENG cameras in the field with the crews back on base. So we have a comprehensive lineup of cloud solutions. We've had many of them for quite a few years now, and we're finding good use of them around the world. And they are very, very pertinent in the situation we find ourselves in at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, can you elaborate a little bit, if at all, we're in this funny situation? Has there been a specific sort of impact that you've witnessed across Europe?
Well, I think if we look at everybody's trying to analyze, where the market and where the industry is going. And all companies have had to react very, very quickly. So they've been implementing remote production tools across the board, really. And some have been able to continue production, I wouldn't say seamlessly, but with minimal impact and being able to pivot in a very speedy way. And it's very much the hot topic within the industry at the moment is how people can continue to operate when they're locked down, either in full or partial lockdown. They have social distancing, and there's this requirement really to adapt the operation, and that's where we're trying to, in all our customer meetings, we're emphasizing the tools that we have that we've just discussed, and some new developments in these areas as well. We're bringing closer collaboration for some of our cloud tools, so our Navigator X system can work in a hybrid environment with C, either on premise or in the cloud, and it's an interesting time, and we feel as though we have a lot to offer in this area because we've been working on these solutions and delivering them for a long time now. And we haven't even really talked about IP in any detail yet. Sony obviously is very committed to the development in IP. We work very closely with SMPTE, with the VSF, with EBU, and with AMWA to make sure that the latest standards and specifications, all the SMPTE SD2110 and the AMWA NMOS specifications are applicable to our products and that we comply. Our live production offering in IP complies with those standards and specifications. And a little known fact maybe that Sony's supplied over IP live production systems to over 100 live studios and outside broadcast trucks, and we're continuing to develop in that work. And that would have been a big highlight for us at the show. And we have a stage presentation that you can look at with all our IP developments.
Sure, we'll be sure to put that link on the screen now. As you say, interesting, challenging times, and it's really good of you to spend the time with us today. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, although we are approaching the end of the Daily Show series, we do have exciting plans for the next 3 months.
We do. We've had over 30 great guests on so far, and in the next months, our plans will require more of the same, although not every day.
So if you want to get involved, promote your product, your company, or any service you offer, then please get in touch. The link is on screen now. And until next time, goodbye.